And good afternoon. This is the Elliott Wave daily update for the S&P 500 being recorded on Thursday, August the 28th at 1:40 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Uh, Market did finally continue higher. We did see some selling initially in NVIDIA, but even it managed to get up to 184 before it kind of sold off. So first thing in the opening was to buy it. Then they brought it back down, and then it rose back up, closing down slightly on the day. So I think that that's all balancing out a little bit. And we'll see kind of how it goes out with tomorrow's end of the month expiration, the August end of month expiration. We'll see what they do with it. As far as the ES and the count, I want to thank you first, Daniel. It's a long time viewer of my work and left me a little bit of a comment saying, hey, if the minute fifth wave is indeed a diagonal, then wave one has got to be an ABC, wave two is an ABC, and wave three is an ABC. And I had labeled this as one, two, three, four, five. So even though I knew that this was ABC, so my error corrected. Excuse me. So I'm just changing the labeling to reflect that this is also a part of the triangle pattern. And so what we've done is the A and the B so far, and now we're doing five waves up for a C wave, and then that'll complete wave three. So basically the same fibs apply that essentially I'm kind of looking for this third wave to kind of maybe get up at least up into here. And so now that we actually did get above that call wall, and that call wall was 6,500 in the SPX, 6,515 in the ES, and we made it. Now, in the future, it kind of went up to a total of 6,523, and then kind of came back down, into the close, and then after the bell, it's kind of just hanging out. But it did break, and the SPX closed not a lot, but did close above 6,500. Excuse me. So we're going to see how this all goes through overnight and see if we can't continue that upside pressure in terms of like after breaking the call wall. Now, I don't think all of what was there is gone because there was a lot of what I would call defensive or defending of that level of around 65.15. And then upwards, as it started to climb, there was still a lot of selling at these different levels. And I don't know if that was to adjust the position, but there was a lot going on right there. And then finally, it did kind of break and run up to 23. But I'm just going to wait and see because I think that we're still in the three of three or the three of C, let me say, wave C going up. And that's obviously, it needs to kind of be compared to the wave one, puts it 100% at 65.33 and 1.618 at 65.80. And that's kind of what I'm looking to get up to. Even if we did wave three here, and then we get a four and then a five, as long as we're starting to end up closer to here, that 100%, then I'm gonna like it a little bit more in terms of what the five waves should begin to look like. And I still believe that we should get close, and then look for that C wave. Excuse me, look for that fourth wave correction and a fifth wave up. And in that case, here we have minute wave five. And being equal, which is the number one, is 69.31. The third most common is actually 618, and that's 66.65. And yes, I'm not going to go up to one more. I'll make it all 666s. That's kind of ominous. So in any case, um, I'm thinking that we should still, even this third, we got 100% at 66.31. And so we're kind of pointing to where we should kind of get up into here for that third, come back down, and then go back up. Now, yes, these are for that third, and that's like if we just power through all of this. But I think that the third should take us above 66. Now, we just broke 65 today, and already I'm thinking we need to get up there and break 6,600. But it would be fitting. And tomorrow, again, end of month, so end of August, expiration. And there could be a lot to do because we buff it up against this call wall and a solid break. And then if we get this the spiders, the call wall and the spiders was at 650. So if we kind of get up there and we start to break these levels, it's going to bring about that extra surge of buying that because adjustments need to be made to these positions as the gamma then kicks in. So we're going to have to wait and see, obviously. But I'm looking at how a lot of the like the Mag 7 and other stocks performed today. Interestingly enough, Tesla was up at 350 first thing this morning, and then suddenly it just sold off. It came back towards the close, but it was down, I think, 6 or 7 at one point. So I think a lot of that is posturing for the expiration tomorrow. We'll also see just a lot of, I believe, position squaring. Um, Volatility likely is going to continue to decline, at least if we're looking at like the SPX options. Um, it's really kind of scraping the bottom in terms of volatility. And I think that's going to hold through the long weekend. So we'll see some of that happening tomorrow and probably some volatility getting sold because in the options it's going to be because of the long weekend. All right. So let's just take a quick review of what our moving averages are telling us. So here on the hourly, we are in alignment. Kind of everything's all aligned and the eight's kind of all angling higher, and that looks good. Let's take a look at the daily. All back. It never really fell out of alignment, but now it's getting that space between the 8 and the 20, which is it's good and walking the rally higher. So still, this is not looking like much, but when we bring it down, it is still productive. All right. Now, tomorrow, number-wise, it is actually the largest day for numbers, for data. So let's just take a quick review of what we got coming out tomorrow. So on Friday, we have personal income, personal spending, PCE index. That's going to be the major for tomorrow. If we see improvements on that, that'll really bolster a rally. And we'll also kind of put more ground underneath the Fed actually cutting on September the 17th. So we'll be looking at that, and the market will be very looking at that. And also at 8:30 a.m., we have advanced U.S. trade balance in goods, advanced retail inventories, advanced wholesale inventories, all at 8:30. 9:45 Chicago Business Barometer. That is actually going to, I think it's going to show that there's some, on the purchasing managers, there's some inflation because the forecast is for 47.3, and last month it was 47.1. So that's continuing to tick up. And then at 10 a.m. we have consumer sentiment, which is actually supposed to come in unchanged. That's what the forecast is. So those are all coming tomorrow, plus expiration, plus last day before a long weekend. So see, a lot of things will be putting in, just adjusting and putting things into where they want them. Now, again, I think it would be very strong as well if we get uh, a break in the close. Again, a solid close above this call wall, but we'll see where things get adjusted to tomorrow when the model runs all the numbers, and so I'll have those tomorrow morning. And that is going to be it for today, and we will see what happens tomorrow morning.